Alright, welcome everyone to this channel. So today we'll be modeling a chair and table assembly that can be found in a public space or like library or restaurants, guest house. In this video, I would like to share some SolidWorks tips and tricks with you, like how to work with Weldment, sheet metal, and also some basic surfacing in SolidWorks. So not to waste much of our time, I'll start by clicking the top plane and the sketch. Now you click a center rectangle. If your own is not center rectangle, you can just click this dialog box and click center rectangle. Then let's select. Now let me press escape to escape from the center rectangle command. Now we can pick smart dimension from this tab here, or my preferred choice is right clicking my left button. I right click, then this dialog box will show, then I pick smart dimension. So this is my my typical way of picking smart dimension, which you will see me do throughout the video. Alright, so I select 600, then I select 1200. Alright, then go to features, extrude boss. Now I'll extrude up to, let's say, 20. Okay, now select, then click on this face, the down face, a sketch, click this face, convert entity, go to sketch entity, then I'll offset by, let's say, 20, then click this line. It's going in the outside direction, that's not what I want. Reverse. Alright, so you can use this, make sure that all this is tick. So because if you don't tick this, it will just select one line, so just select chain so that it will select the other lines too. So accept it, then go to features again, extrude boss. So this time I want to extrude up to 15 mm and uncheck merge results. I don't want to merge the result, I want it to be a separate body. Okay, now just on a side note, we are using metric scale, right? Millimeter, grams, and seconds. So all dimensions are in mm. All dimensions are in mm. Now this is the tabletop. Very easy to model, right? Now let's save it. You can save it and put it in a folder. We'll use it later in the assembly video. So save it somewhere, and I move to the next part to model. That's the chair. Alright, now the part has been saved. Let's go to the next one. That's the chair. Let's model the chair. Okay, now to model the chair, we'll be using SolidWorks surfacing and some sketch. We create some planes too. You follow the video then, and let's get on with it. Okay, now to start with, I click the right plane, the sketch, click this line. First of all, locate this center point so that it will have a tracking line. So click the track line, then make sure that you snap to horizontal and vertical like I'm showing here. Alright, select your right mouse button, smart dimension. Now this one is 380, then this place is 450. Okay, now this place is 450, then escape, click this line, construction geometry. Now click the line command again and draw a line, terminate it at any point. let's move this dimension from this place, then click this dot and this dot, make horizontal relation. Okay, now let's smart dimension, give 5-degree angle 5. Okay, now we have 5-degree angle. Let's go to fillet, sketch fillet, then we will use, let's say 50. Okay, let's see what 50 gives us. All right, it's fine, 50 is okay. Let's give 50. Then this the green button shows we accept it. That's your right mouse button. I click the right mouse button, I accept it. All right, so save the sketch and leave. All right, so we accept the sketch. Now let's create some planes. All right, let's let's go back to the sketch, edit it. Let's add another sketch here. We add this line. Okay, give it a dimension. All right, let's say 30. All right, let's say 30. Then we'll go to sketch fillet again. Let's use 20 or 25. Okay, let's use 25. All right, so accept the fillet, then you escape. All right, so that is done. Let's go to reference geometry and under your features select plane. All right, let's create some planes. Now first select this point, and the second reference select this line, so you will have a plane perpendicular to this line. Okay, I have many planes that I need to create, so I will lock the plane, so keep it visible. Even though when I accept it, it will still keep this command visible. All right, so accept. So it's still telling us to continue. So this time click this first reference, we need this point, then second reference within this line, accept it. Okay, now this next one, you can keep this plane 2 in the first reference, then second plane, select this line, so automatically we have a mid plane. So this plane that we just generated will be in between the 2 planes earlier created. All right, so we accept that too. That's what we want. Next one is this plane 3 that we just created, and the second reference, select plane 1 to have another plane in between plane, that's plane 1 and plane 3. Okay, so we accept that too. Then what we need now is inside this first plane, that's not what we want. We want this plane and this plane, so we have a plane that is in between plane 2 and plane 3. All right, so we accept that. Then we need a plane on this face here, so plane 5 is irrelevant now. What we need is this dot, and the second reference is this line, so we have a plane that is perpendicular to this line. Okay, now we accept it, then we can close the dialog box. So sorry, let me expand this for more visual. It's really irrelevant, but just to have visual. Okay, now I need a plane in between this curve here, this radius. So to do that, let's click this sketch and edit it. So for us to be able to do that, we need to add a point here before we can continue. You can either select a sketch line to add the point, or we can click this point to add the point, but let me use a sketch line to add the point. So I have this line, then locate the center point of this radius. So there's the center, so that's all we need to create the plane. Now let's go back to our reference geometry here. Reference geometry, a plane, then we select this point, then we select plane 2. So we now have a plane on this radius here. Alright, so we accept that. Now on the first plane, we click it and select a sketch. Now what we need to do is go to 3-point arc inside your arc command. Go to 3-point arc, just click anywhere like this as shown in this video, then click these 2 dots, add horizontal relation, then add smart dimension. We use, first of all, we will start with 800 mm radius, right? And the distance between these 2 points is 400. Okay, then we find the center point of these dots of this arc and place it right by pressing the control on your keyboard. Click the second dot and add coincident relation. Okay, fully defined. Now we accept the sketch. Okay, so now we don't need this plane, we can hide it. Click on the plane, then it will give you this dialog box, hide it. Then move to plane 4. We add a sketch, do similar thing. Okay, now we are using a radius of 900 and distance between the 2 lines is 400, and by hold control button, click the second dot, add horizontal relation, find the center point, then locate this point, then add coincidence. Alright, so let's check the sketch. Exactly, that's where we want it to be. So hide the plane, we don't need the plane for now. Okay, plane 3, we do the same thing. Okay, let's go to 3-point arc. Alright, select the 2 points, add horizontal relation, add the smart dimension. This time we are using 1000, just adding 100 to the radius, and the distance between these 2 dots is 400. Okay, find the center point, add coincidence relation. Okay, now we can hide this plane also. So we move to plane 5. Okay, on plane 5 we do the same thing. Do this horizontal relation, smart dimension, then we use 1100. Okay, 1100, you pick this dot to 400. Alright, find the center point, locate the center point here too, then coincidence. Now we accept it, we move, we can hide this plane also. Now the next plane is this plane. We add a sketch, then this time we are using 1200. Okay, we add relation, horizontal relation, and distance between 2 mouth is 400. Then we look at the center points. Okay, and the center of this one make coincidence. Alright, so we accept the sketch. Now for the, you can hide this plane. Now for this one, it's the same thing, but there is a slight difference. But if you follow me, then I'll show you. Sketch, just like earlier, then make 400, so 1300, okay. Press Ctrl Z to go back. First of all, you can remove this sketch for now. So let's locate the center point for this arc. Okay, now we click this dot that we created earlier and hold your control button and click it, then make coincidence. So we can return to, so click this plane and click make normal. Alright, so make it normal. Then now we can now add the radius dimension, so that's 1300. Alright, so y, then we have not added the horizontal relation. This line, this dot and this dot make horizontal. Now it's fully defined. Alright, okay, so we can accept it. Then we can hide this plane. So don't forget this line is on top plane. Okay, so click top plane, add a sketch. Alright, so draw 3-point arc. So we draw this line, and this line. Now normally I could have used a straight line, but you know, if I use a straight line, by the time I use what's it called, surface, the transition between this curve and the straight line will be too sharp. So but what I will use is, I will just try to make sure that I use a very large radius, so that it will just be close to a line but not a line. So this is what I mean. We can return to previous view, click it. Now we are back to previous view, escape to leave the arc command. Just like earlier, click these 2 points, horizontal, find the center, then locate this point, hold your control button and select make coincidence, return to previous view. Alright, so now let's add dimension. Year to year is 400. Okay, just like earlier. Now this one, now I will use 2000 radius. It's almost flat. Okay, so I use 2000, and that's that. Okay, now still on the top plane, let's make another line. Now this time I cannot draw a straight line. Draw a straight line, snap to horizontal. The dimension is 400. Okay, now find the center point and click this. Okay, you cannot click it from here. Just hold your control button. Oh, sorry. Click outside. Find the center point. Now we have the center point. Hold this and select make coincidence. Now you're done. Accept it and leave. Now again, on this plane 6, a sketch, you do similar thing. Draw a straight line, any straight line of your choice. Oh yeah, now let's do 400 as the dimension. Escape to leave the smart dimension. Now find the center point. Now you can click, let's pan outside to find this point. I'm clicking outside again. Let me look at the center point. This center point and this point make a coincidence. You see, go back to previous view. Alright, so this is the sketch for this is the sketch for the chair. Now we can hide this plane. Alright, now what we do now is, having this sketch, let's now go to surface. On surface, use boundary surface. Inside boundary surface, direction 1, we click all these lines that we just drill. Line 1, line 2, you can see 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Alright, you can see the way it's going. This is not what we want. Now click this line 2 and select this middle line. You see, everything is now back to normal, the way we want it. You don't need to adjust anything, just accept it. You see, you have a very smooth surface. You see, very smooth surface. Alright, so from here, inside the surface tab, ticking, and inside ticking we will tick side 1, right? And we want to tick it by 20. Alright, so click your surface body, and that's what we want. You can see, you see, this is very nice. Alright, now on the front plane, click front plane, add a sketch. Now inside the sketch, select a line, center line. This center line, just draw a center line of any length. Now then we draw, unselect this. For construction, we want to draw normal line. Now draw this line as shown. Hold your control button, the center line and the second line, click make symmetry. Now make a symmetry. Okay, now we can make this line and this line, make it collinear. Okay, now smart dimension between this dot here, you can give it, let's say 5. Alright, now this base is 380 and this top is 370. Okay, now go to features and extrude cuts. Inside extrude cuts, go through or bolt. Then through or bolt, it will cut the inside. That's not what we want. We want to trim the outside, so flip side to cut. Now you see, this is where we want to cut. Accept it. Alright, so you see now our chair is coming in place and as nice as we want it. Okay, now still on the front plane, the sketch, draw a center line. Okay, go to center point straight slots. Okay, let's select any point and draw this smart dimension. Let's give this 80 and let's give this, say, 15, and the distance between here and this point, let's say 60. Okay, now features and extrude cuts. Extrude cuts, let's go through bolts. Through bolts. Nice. Okay, that's what we want. Now let's go to fillet. fillet, let's add 20 mm fillet on this edge here. 20 mm fillet. Okay, so we can add it here too. Then we can select, we can accept. Now the chair is almost ready. Okay, now on the top plane again, on the top plane now, select a sketch. You can click this normal to just to flip this side. Then we go to center line and make the center line to touch this place. And now let's select center rectangle. On the center of this line, select a sketch, click outside, escape. Now click this line, hold your control button, and the second line, make equal, then smart dimension, let's say 170. Okay, now since we have that, then let's go to extrude boss. Now it's going in the wrong direction, reverse it. Next, extrude by 5 mm. Alright, you don't need to merge results or match results. Okay, then you have this body now inside here. Now go to fillet, let's go to fillet. Alright, fillet 20 mm is enough. Select this face, then let's use SolidWorks quick fill to connect to feed the other edge that are marked in orange in this pink color. Sorry. Right, so we have everything filled now for us. Accept. Okay, now this is done. Now go to this face, click this face, a sketch. Now we have this face, a sketch. Let's do some circle. Okay, all right. Now escape, Control A. So Control A will select all the 4 circles that we just drew and make them equal. Then your right mouse button, smart dimension. Then now the intention is to put an M8 bolt inside this hole, and so the minor diameter of M8 bolts, if you check bolt table, standard metric tab, then you will find that for M8 bolts we have 6.2 mm minor diameter. So, and that is what I'm putting here. And let's say I go to features, extrude cut. Now inside extrude cut, we're selecting blind. So blind, we want to tap all the way to, let's say 15. Okay, so 15, then accept it. You see. Now what we do next is cosmetic thread. So in case you don't have cosmetic thread, and like I do have it here, let's just use search command and type cosmetic thread, or you can use S key on your, you can press S key on your keyboard and type cosmetic. So you have cosmetic thread. Alright, so we have it clicked. Then we click this edge or this edge. So you see automatically SolidWorks, because I use the right minor diameter, SolidWorks already gives me the M8 bolt size for the hole. Alright, so we select the other edge to to create a tab. Let's do it for all these. Okay, nice. Okay. Okay. Accept. Now you cannot see the thread, the cosmetic thread. Now you can go to settings in case you want to view it, and go to document property, detailing, then cosmetic, show shaded cosmetic thread. Okay, you will be able to see this thread. Okay, and that's how you to use cosmetic thread. Let me just hide this, hide the cosmetic thread. Alright, so, and this is the chair. We have modeled the chair. Next, in the section of the video, we will model the framework where these chairs and the table will be assembled. Alright, so I'll see you in the next one. Alright, so thank you.